Today I want to touch on just a few things that, not just with the John Deere, not just with the 1025, but most any tractor that you're going to buy, there's going to be some things that you want to pay attention to. This is for first-time tractor buyers. This is not for somebody that's had 5 or 6 tractors. A few of these things I didn't even realize, and I've been selling tractors for 7 years, or had. I don't any longer, but I've owned this tractor, John Deere 1025, for 2 years. I use it commercially, so I haul it over the road a lot. With any tractor, especially this model, just because it's how it's configured. The number one thing, you might even ask them at the dealership, the bolts that hold the seat on the bracket, the swivel bracket, if you do a lot of hauling on a trailer, those will wiggle their way right out. And let me tell you, the space between here and there is a bitch to get them back in. I put on some Loctite, and it has not given me any trouble since then, and I use this tractor probably 3 times a week. I probably haul it around 3 or 4 times a week on the trailer. And if you're using stuff commercially, you definitely need to do that. Anything that is going to get exposed to the elements, that's going to get scraped or rust, you want to use grease, even if it doesn't have a grease fitting. Your number one thing right here, a lot of times people don't use this. They buy a tractor, they don't even use it. Maybe, they don't have an attachment on it. Just this morning, I put grease on there. I put it on my finger and I rubbed it around and I threaded it all the way in and all the way out. I did the same thing here on the top and the bottom threads. I also put grease in the little ball here on the 3-point hitch. And I do have an eye match on mine, so it's covered up right now. But there are little ball connections in there as well. I'm probably going to end up here in the next month or so taking my eye match off and putting some grease on those, because what happens to those is they look just like these here. They will seize, and you will need a pry bar to break them free, and that's, it's not necessary. Also, make sure with your tractor that you don't have too much slop from side to side. Hold on, let me show you. That's what I mean. So your linkage cannot hit your tires. You've got a little bit of play. You've got a little bit of play, but it's not hitting your tires. There's nothing worse than bush hogging or rototilling and going on a side hill a little bit and having it grind into your tires and wear your tires off, and you don't even know what's happening. Another thing, especially with Deeres, they all pretty much have the same lights on them, from the 1000 to the 4000. I broke my first light, boys and girls. I broke it off. It's just plastic, Snappo. And because I haul it on the trailer, it got twisted around in circles. What you can do, and again, when you buy a tractor brand new, the time to ask is when you bought it. The time to ask is when you buy it right then, and have them do it at the dealership. This is even one that I'm sure you can get them to throw in for free as a part of your deal. But these are universal to either side, as long as one, either on the inside or the outside. So what you would do is unbolt this, from the inside. You take your left on the outside and you put it on the right on the inside. And you take your right on the outside and you put it on your left on the inside. So by taking that light and putting it on the inside and this on the left and put it on the inside, your ROPS is protecting your lights from them getting broken off. I can tell you they're $100 a piece, and it's probably $125 per side to install. So yeah, there's that. One thing you really want to be careful of as a new tractor owner is this little guy right here. I always have an attachment on. I always have my eye match. And I've got this little clip up in there that keeps it out of the way. If you don't have a little clip, find a bungee cord. Keep this guy out of the way. If it's dangling and it hits right here, not a big deal. But then you go to raise your 3-point hitch implement and your top link hits it and you'll bend something very seriously. Grease all your grease points often. I mean, you don't have to freak out about it, but more often than most people do, which is never. I mean, some things, don't have grease fittings. I'll put a little grease on my slides for my forks and stuff like that, and it really makes a big difference. And anything with adjustable steering, that's just plastic. It is not a handle to get it on and off the machine. You have a handle here, you have an armrest on your seat, you have your loader. Use anything but that. I've seen a couple dozen tractors that have come in trade-in where this steering column was wore right out and shacked because, a 275-pound dude grabbed onto the windshield, the steering wheel every time he got on it. And after about 3 years, it was just wore right out. If you're doing a lot of bush hogging, which I am this time of year, I have not cleaned this off yet. The front end and the inside of the tractor is going to get very dirty. You need to clean that out or your tractor will overheat and shut off. And the first time it happened to me, of course, I thought I broke a very expensive item. So it takes 10 minutes. It'll cool right down and you can go back to bush hogging, but it's just going to happen again and again and again if you don't keep it clean. So that's just a few things that I thought of. I was out bush hogging all day today, and a few things I've learned just doing things the hard way, doing it. And the bush hog, I gotta tell you, it's awesome. I used it today for taking down 12-foot high thorn bushes that had bases that were over 1 inch thick, sometimes 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick. And I actually spend more time going backwards with the bush hog than I do going forward. With your tail wheel going backwards, it's much easier to gauge. It seems like the front end, even though I have it adjusted properly, the front end is much harder to keep out of the dirt. Oh yeah, never put your fingers anywhere near this. That's just a big pair of blunt scissors that will chop your finger off. Anyway, the bolts on the bottom of the seat, lubing your threads, and putting your lights from the outside to the inside are probably your 3 best tips as new tractor owners. All right, have fun.